Hi, I'm an alien parasite who's controlling this guy, but instead of taking over the world, I'm just going to continue making YouTube videos. I'm just realizing now I either look like I'm desperately tired or am crying. I promise I am not one of those things, but I am pretty tired, I would say. So, I don't know, let's get moving. So today I have 4 games I would specifically like to talk about. Those are Sea of Thieves, Deep Rock Galactic, Haiku the Robot, and Hollow Knight. I've played these games a lot, except for Haiku. I've only beat the game once. But the other games I'm pretty knowledgeable on, so let's start by talking about Sea of Thieves. I have played 353 hours of Sea of Thieves, which is a lot, but I'd say it was worth it. I am a pirate legend by now, which you probably could have guessed from my insane time and my 2 videos about it. I have pretty much exactly half of the achievements, but I'll just go with an overview of what the game is. So Sea of Thieves is a game about being a pirate, where you sail around the sea, usually competing with other crews for the treasure that you seek. But if you're feeling like not doing PvP, you can put down a voyage, such as a search for lost gold, or a Merchant Alliance cargo delivery, or really whatever you feel like, and then profit. I really don't want to spend too long on Sea of Thieves, because the other things I want to talk about are probably more interesting. But I will say that Sea of Thieves is a fun game if you have friends, and a rewarding game regardless. Moving on. Yeah, I don't know why I look so sad. That's weird. Anyway, Deep Rock Galactic is a mining game. I've already gone over it in my other video, which you should watch. It's probably lower quality than this video, because I didn't have this microphone. But it's still pretty good. But in Deep Rock, you play as a dwarf working for Deep Rock Galactic, which is a company, mining operation. You go down to the planet Hoxie's and you, mine for gold and morkite and fight spiders, or glyphids. I don't think spiders have teeth. Or you can, protect a drill dozer. You can go play the game if you want to find out what that means. And, of course, you can have fun. Anyway, Deep Rock is a super fun game that isn't very expensive, doesn't take up a lot of storage space, and is on Game Pass. So I do recommend you want to play that if you enjoy fun. Haiku the Robot is a Metroidvania game, much like Metroid or Castlevania, where you run around as a little robot guy in a post-apocalyptic robot wasteland, attempt to save the world, I guess. But there's a lot to do. By that I mean there's not a lot to do. But if you're trying to get all the achievements, there is a lot to do. I recommend if you're going to play it, you just play the game normally first, and then torture yourself with all the achievements. No matter how you play the game, it's still fun. I'd recommend if you're dying for more Hollow Knight, and you can't be patient enough to wait for Silksong to never come out, then you try out Haiku, because it's similar. Speaking of Hollow Knight is the best game ever made. That's probably not true, but it's definitely my favorite. So, Hollow Knight's a game where you play as a little bug guy, and you're going through your little bug world. But you're not actually a bug. You're a vessel filled with the void that was a failed attempt at creating a vessel to contain the Radiance, which is a god who is infecting everything to create a hive mind. You are not the Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight is your sibling who beat you to the top of the abyss, supposedly. But through the game, you fight through hundreds of bugs, you get a bunch of skills, you learn how to double jump at one point, which is pretty cool, I'd say. There's a bunch of dreamers and a bunch of boss fights, which I already said. And in the end, everyone learns a lesson. Just kidding, every ending ends with you dying, so go have fun with that. I'm going to spend way longer on Hollow Knight than I did on the other thing, because I actually have 2 more things that I want to talk about. a song that my brother and I attempted to write, and I'd say we succeeded in writing it, but we failed in creating it. And the other thing is the worst fan fiction, I think. So I'll talk about that too. But let's get started with the song. So I'm a big fan of, like, those ciphers. Not every cipher, but, like, specifically the ones that the Stupendium and Freshie Canal made. So, of course, I attempted to write one. And since we know that really I can only make YouTube videos, that didn't go very well. So I would like to read you some of the lyrics, and we will talk about them, and you won't make fun of me. So, like the other ciphers, this song starts with just, like, a random little introduction. So I'll read that. Actually, I know it from memory. Far outside the kingdom, all the fools test. Fell deep down a well, rancid egg up in my nest. Call me snail shaman with the mounds of loops I'm dropping. Sea and kingdom's edge, all these enemies I'm stopping. So that was, like, the beginning of the song, which I think it was pretty good, but it gets even worse. So let's read, like, the actual verses. I have to look at my phone for this one. Let's start with Cornifers. Everyone knows Cornifer, like, he's the hello there, my short friend. Why am I doing this? Would you like to purchase a map of the area? No. Are you sure? Now, here's the actual song. I came from beyond, moved into Dirtmouth, spoke to a Zelda, but she won't respond. She can't handle the ramble. Head down to Greenpath, check out the bramble. Became cartographer by trade. You're blown away by the maps that I've made. All of my work is premium grade. Profit margins so low it's a wonder she stayed. So that's really sad. That's really all I have to say on Cornifer. There is more, but I don't want to read it because it has swear words in it, and that is not what I do on this channel. So, find your Hollow Knight cipher somewhere else. Now, next is this Hollow Knight fanfiction I discovered. Really just a work of art. It is called The Hollow Knight X Male Reader, which is just lore inaccurate, really. So I will talk about that. Now, I have not screened this, so I'm gonna leave out the stuff like the Hollow Knight stuff like that, but I'll read the parts that I consider safe for a human being to hear. So I'm gonna start off with this absolute treat of a description. What if instead of finding a pure vessel to contain the radiance, he sacrificed one of his unborn children for it to distract it for a long time? What happens next may shock you. So pretty much it's an evil Hollow Knight themed Darman video. Okay, this is very, very graciously allowed me to name myself Dennis. I'm not going to do that, but, it's good to have the option. Oh no. No, there's no punctuation in this. I have to read this all as one sentence. A beautiful day in Hollow Nest. They spelled Hollow Nest wrong. The stagways are filled with bugs eager to get places, but in every beauty there is a beast. The deeper you go, the more deadly it become. Everything is beautiful in Hollow Nest, but in White Palace the Pale King has grown tall, if a few inches is what it's called, and filled with worry. So this is already great. Alright, this is kind of written like a screenplay, like instead of specifying who's talking, they put the name and then all the words underneath it. So, the Pale King says, finding the pure vessel is more harder than I thought. More and more of the vessels were showing emotion, and I can't seem to find one that is purely hollow. And to make matters worse, my wife has lost the smile she once had, and all eggs she laid are dying because of our quest to find the pure vessel. If this continues, I may have to do something regrettable. I must give it a vessel for it to control till... They put till as something the Pale King would say. I can find the pure vessel, but it doesn't mean I have to give it a clean vessel. I don't want to do this. The king was skeptical of his choice, but he will give a vessel to the Radiants, but it doesn't mean it has to be void-free. None of the vessels are void-free. They're all made of void. Man, this person doesn't know their Hollow Knight lore. It's almost like they haven't written an 18-page document about it. So the king went to the Abyss and to collect a single vessel for the Radiants to control. They spelled control wrong. Pale King. Now I must be quick or I'll miss my saw delivery. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, because he has like 400 buzzsaws in the White Palace. Maybe don't include like not commentary. Don't include comedy in a book, like not book, just a masterpiece like this. Don't include that kind of comedy. You can make it funny, but only because I'm laughing at it because it's so bad. Just then, millions of voices cried out in agony. Mine as well. Okay, this person is in agony. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the most popular Hollow Knight fanfiction on Wattpad. This is it. This is the most popular thing. The Pale King says, "Perfect, I can already hear they are screams." Not their screams. I can already hear they are screams. Also, that's perfect. The place king searched for an egg in the abyss until he found it. The king grabbed the egg and immediately GT back up and wait for the, I guess GT stands for game theory, other vessels to come up, but they all show emotions, and he kicked them back and leave for today. He went to Hollow Nest Crown and offered the egg to the Radiance. The Radiance is talking now. The Radiant says, "Who dares enter my domain?" The Pale King says, "It's me." There's a line I need to skip. Another one. "Oh, have you come to fight me?" The Pale King says, "No, I have a proposition." And the Radiant says, "And what is?" Very funny. Pale King says, "I shall give you one of my unborn child in exchange for you shall delay your plague for a few years." It says you shall delay your plaque for a few years. So I don't know if the Radiance is like a dentist or something, but that's pretty cool. The Radiant says, "And what if I don't?" The Pale King says, "Welp, I tried my best to destroy this one." Oh my god, I hate this. The Radiant says, "What? Are you insane? It is your child?" With a question mark. My forehead itches. I think it might be, oh no. Oh my god. Okay, skip what the Pale King says. The Radiant says, "I knew you were a monster behind that mask." The Pale King doesn't wear a mask. "Is a murderer ready to kill for his purpose?" Pale King says, "Maybe I am. What can you do without a physical body?" Radiant says, "I will increase my plaque so it may destroy you." Oh no, they spelled plague right this time. Alright, so they can be good at spelling, just only sometimes. Ooh, yeah, this is one of those moments. But anyway, the Pale King says, "Enough of this. Either take my child or I should kill it." The Radiant says, "Fine, it's pointless to bicker with you." And so the Radiance has agreed to take the child, and as agreed, the plague will be postponed until further notice. A few days later, the egg finally hatched, and it was but once you were born. Your mother hugged you in joy, but your father didn't but ignore you. The days go by, and your mother loved you as you were the only child, and your father decided to pick up from the void. So this is great so far. I have no idea why I would ever make fun of this. Days go by, and you were in the garden looking at a flower. The Radiant says with no punctuation, "Hello there, child." You looked behind you, but no one was there. The Radiant says, "Oh, how I forgot you can't see me because I'm in your head." Okay, I'm gonna skip a lot of this. I'm gonna get to the interesting stuff. Okay, we got something cool here. We got Hornet just out of the blue saying something. Hornet says, "Father, who is that next to the pure vessel?" Which, okay. The Pale King looked and saw you. Pale King says, "That is your other brother, but he's more distant than the pure vessel." The White Lady says, "It pains me to see the first child I ever hugged and loved become so distant to us." Or it says, will he play with us? Skip that. Willie says, why are you so distant to him? You were holding him since he was a egg, and yet you treat him like he was a mistake once he hatched, ? The Pale King says, you will never understand me, and no one ever will. Or no one will ever will. Meanwhile, you were finished with your food and decided to leave early rather than to listen to your mother argue to your father. This is horrible. Like, not even, like, the concept. Like, this is borderline unreadable. How many chapters of this are there? Give me a second, I gotta figure this out. Okay, I'm not gonna read all this. There are 22 chapters, and I don't feel like reading a whole book in a video. So, I'm just gonna summarize. Alright, so pretty much you just kind of be the Radiance's child for a while. There's some Grimchilds in there somewhere, which is weird. This character named Ella just shows up out of nowhere. I still don't know who that is. And then I stopped reading because it started getting too weird and I didn't want to read that. Well, Pure Vessels, that was the video. So, I don't really know what to say now. I did say in my first Date Right Stuff video that I would have a longer video soon. This is that, so I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, Jake Paulers, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.